The film begins with two school buses driving along the road together. The students are on a field trip, having a great time, joking around and having pillow fights. The weather is sunny and peaceful. Meanwhile, a lonely girl named Mitsuko is busy writing a poem. Two other girls start mocking her for writing instead of playing and enjoying her time. They snatch her notebook away and her pen falls to the floor. Mitsuko leans down to pick up the pen and suddenly, a violent gust of wind strikes the two buses, slicing them clean in half. The wind even slices through the students' heads. Mitsuko is the sole survivor because she was leaning down at that exact moment. When she stands up, she sees the bus without a roof, surrounded by the horrific sight of her friends' bodies cut in half. Seconds later, another gust of wind approaches, but Mitsuko senses it and ducks just in time, narrowly escaping death again as the wind slices through utility poles. Once the bus stops, she climbs out and starts running down the road. She sees the bodies of her classmates from the second bus scattered on the ground, all of them mangled. She keeps running and screaming, looking behind her, feeling the wind closing in again. She sees four girls walking ahead. She grabs one of them and tackles her to the ground, just as the wind strikes, killing the other three girls instantly. Mitsuko manages to save her own life and the life of that girl, but not for long. The girl dies shortly after while trying to save some young men riding bicycles. Mitsuko is alone once again. She runs at full speed until she reaches a river, where she sees the bodies of more students floating in the water. Mitsuko washes the blood off her face and changes into clean clothes, discarding her blood-stained uniform. She wanders down the road aimlessly. After hours of walking, she arrives at an all-girls school. By coincidence, the school's uniform is identical to what she's wearing. It seems that all the girls there know Mitsuko, but she is bewildered and tells no one about the devastating storm she just survived because she is still in a state of total shock. She runs into her friend, Aki, who greets her and tells her to head inside the school. Mitsuko is confused as to how she and Aki are suddenly in the same school together. Aki asks her, "Why are you trembling? We've always been classmates here." Suddenly, Mitsuko ducks instinctively as a breeze passes by, but this time it's just a normal wind that causes no harm. Aki looks at her and says, "There's something very strange about you today." Mitsuko stands up and heads toward the school, her mind racing, unable to find any logical explanation for what happened. When another breeze passes by, she panics and starts running. Aki chases after her to calm her down, assuring her that nothing happened and there's no reason to worry. Mitsuko eventually calms down, especially when she notices that the teachers also recognize her and treat her as a regular student. Once Mitsuko and Aki are alone, Mitsuko asks her in disbelief, "Am I really a student here?" Aki replies, "Yes, of course you are." This leads Mitsuko to believe that everything she saw that morning was just a vivid nightmare or a hallucination. She tells Aki about the deadly wind that slaughtered her classmates, struggling to catch her breath from the trauma as she speaks. To comfort her, Aki opens the window and shows her that the wind outside is just a gentle, harmless breeze. She encourages Mitsuko to reach her hand out and feel it. Mitsuko calms down, realizing it's just normal wind, and the two share a laugh at how strange they must look. Aki suggests that Mitsuko might be suffering from temporary amnesia, which would explain why she doesn't remember her own school. Later, the two meet up with their friends. They laugh, joke around, and decide to skip the rest of their classes for the day. They head into the forest, playing and laughing. Mitsuko finally feels happy and relieved, convinced that the morning's events were nothing more than a bad dream that she has now completely put behind her. The girls stop by a lake to catch their breath, and Aki tells the others about Mitsuko's dream of the wind that killed her classmates. However, one of their friends, Suri, interrupts and suggests that it might have actually happened. She mentions that Mitsuko could have been in a parallel universe, as she had read about the existence of multiple realities. The other girls don't take her seriously, thinking she's just joking. Just then, they find a pillow on the ground and start playing with it together. Suddenly, Mitsuko spots two girls standing nearby. She looks at them and smiles, but strangely, they vanish into thin air. Suri then tells Mitsuko, "If you want to change reality, you must do something unexpected and out of the ordinary." Mitsuko reflects deeply on those words. Later, Mitsuko and Aki decide to return to the school and enter their classroom. Mitsuko sees a pillow on the floor, picks it up, and tosses it to Aki. Suddenly, the teacher opens fire on them with a machine gun, massacring all the girls, including Aki. Mitsuko is the only survivor. The teacher cold-bloodedly states that this is punishment for the girls who skipped class. She is about to kill Mitsuko when two other girls suddenly appear, grab Mitsuko, and help her escape. They pass by another classroom where every single student has been slaughtered and use it as a hiding spot. Another teacher enters and kills one of the students. Another girl tries to resist, but she is quickly gunned down. Suri tries to lead Mitsuko to safety, but Suri takes a bullet. The other student tells Mitsuko to run, but before she can finish her sentence, she is also struck by a bullet and killed. Mitsuko runs alongside the few surviving students, while the teachers shoot mercilessly from the windows, targeting any student who has skipped class. They are determined not to let a single girl escape. Only 5 girls manage to break out of the school. One of them turns to Mitsuko and says, "You need to think and take action, because everything is in your hands." Mitsuko doesn't understand what she means. Suddenly, the deadly wind strikes again, slaughtering all the girls except Mitsuko. Once again, she's alone, pursued by the wind. She runs for a long distance until she finally reaches the city. She continues running through crowds, consisting entirely of women. She stops when she sees a police station and rushes inside. The policewoman thinks Mitsuko is losing her mind because she's crying and unable to speak. Gasping for breath, Mitsuko points toward the direction of the wind. Mitsuko is stunned when the officer calls her Keiko and asks, "Why are you wearing a school uniform?" Looking in the mirror, Mitsuko is even more shocked. Her reflection is completely different. It turns out the officer, named Tomo, is Keiko's friend. Tomo tells her she should be happy because her wedding is only a few hours away. Trapped in a state of shock and unable to think, Mitsuko lets Tomo take charge. She's placed in a car that takes her to a church to get married. So far, Mitsuko has been thrust into bizarre experiences. Strangely, women on the street wave at them, treating Keiko like a celebrity. Everyone is celebrating Keiko's wedding. Upon arriving at the church, a crowd of women gathers to congratulate her. When she enters the dressing room to change, she is stunned to see Aki. Mitsuko can't believe her eyes and starts asking what on earth is going on. Aki whispers, "I know what you're thinking. Keep your voice down and stay calm. I'll explain everything later." The other girls gossip about how handsome the groom is. Then they bring the wedding dress. Aki clears the room, telling everyone that Keiko is just nervous. Once they are alone, Aki calls her by her real name, Mitsuko, and tells her, "Do exactly as I say. Stay calm and don't panic. I can't explain everything now because they are watching us." Mitsuko trusts Aki and follows her lead. After she's dressed in her bridal gown, some girls arrive to take her to the altar. Suddenly, Aki attacks and kills them all to teach Mitsuko how to fight. She hands Mitsuko a broken glass bottle, telling her to attack anyone she doesn't feel comfortable with. Mitsuko walks toward the groom, clutching the broken bottle instead of a bouquet. All the guests are women, clapping and cheering for her. At the end of the aisle, she sees a coffin where the groom is supposed to be. Suddenly, the guests begin acting strangely, mocking Mitsuko and pushing her toward the casket. When the coffin opens, the groom is revealed to have the head of a pig. The women try to force her to kiss him, but Mitsuko stabs him with the broken bottle and kills several of the women. Aki appears just as the 2 teachers from the school arrive. Mitsuko and Aki engage in a fierce battle with them and manage to overpower them. They escape the church together, and Aki stays behind to distract the teachers so Mitsuko can run. Mitsuko is stopped by a girl in athletic gear who calls her by a new name, Izumi. She tells her to join the marathon. When Mitsuko looks in the mirror, she is shocked to find herself transformed for the 3rd time. She is now a famous marathon runner named Izumi, beloved by the crowds. A massive audience cheers her name as she runs with her teammates. Her fellow runners tell her, "You've been incredibly fast since our school days." But Mitsuko is completely lost. She decides not to ask questions and just keeps running, trying to enjoy the moment. Suddenly, the pig-faced groom and the murderous teachers reappear and start hunting them down. The other girls urge Izumi to be brave, saying, "You are the only one who can escape this world." Izumi veers off the track and runs at full speed until she reaches a cave. A girl finds her and leads her to a group of frightening girls with long hair covering their faces. One of the girls tells Izumi, "If you don't die, we will all die," and tries to kill her. Aki arrives just in time to save her and tells Izumi to repeat these words over and over. "I am Mitsuko." Izumi obeys, chanting the name until she finally reverts to her original form. Mitsuko begs for an explanation. Aki reveals the truth. "We are currently in an unreal world, a world of illusions, and you are the main character here. To escape, you must pull these 2 wires from my wrists and kill me. I will die, but you will be free and reach the control center." Mitsuko refuses to hurt her friend, but Aki slaps her to force her to agree. Mitsuko finally pulls the wires. Aki is sliced in half, and Mitsuko is finally liberated, reaching the real world. She finds herself in a restaurant where for the first time she sees men. Walking further, she sees a poster on the wall featuring her own image along with Keiko and Izumi. She realizes it's a poster for a video game, and the three of them are the main characters. Mitsuko is now in a dystopian city controlled entirely by men who are obsessed with violent survival games. The game is called Tag, and Mitsuko, Keiko, and Izumi are the playable avatars. A man meets Mitsuko and tells her she is now 15 years in the future. Mitsuko passes out from the shock. When she wakes up, she is in a cave similar to the one before, filled with taxidermied versions of all the game characters. She encounters an old man playing tag, using Mitsuko's character. He tells her, "I've been obsessed with you since you were in high school. After you died, I took your DNA and that of your friends to create these 3D clones for my game." A young man appears and orders Mitsuko to join him on a bed, and the old man commands her to obey. As the man is about to touch her, Mitsuko remembers Suri's advice, do something unexpected to break the illusion. Following the advice, Mitsuko attacks the man, screaming at him to stop playing with girls' lives as if they were toys. She grabs a pillow and strikes him. The feathers turn red as blood. She seizes the old man's cane and kills herself. The old man screams in horror because her death will ruin the game. Indeed, all three characters die within the system. And Mitsuko is finally free in the true literal sense. And that brings us to the end of this mind-bending summary. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. For those of you who made it to the very end, leave a feather emoji in the comments, so I know who enjoyed the episode. See you in the next thrilling recap very soon.